Toyota is known for its durable and reliable cars that can handle almost anything you throw at it, and well, it's only natural of us to expect the same from any car with a Toyota badge. However, this one is different. It's a rebadged car from another manufacturer, and you know which one it is. Is this worthy of the Toyota badge? How does it drive? What is it like to live with the Toyota Glanza? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to DriveSpark. I'm Stephen Neal and this is the 2022 Toyota Glanza. Well, we've been driving it quite a bit now and I can tell you a lot about it, and that's what I'm gonna do. So let's get started. Before we get started on the design and other aspects of this car, let me tell you what this car actually is. Now, if you're thinking this is a Maruti Suzuki Baleno, well, you're right. Well, it is part of a global scale agreement between Toyota and Suzuki where they have agreed on sharing on products and technologies, etc. And as a result, Suzuki or Maruti Suzuki in India, well, they have picked a few cars from Toyota, and Toyota has picked a few cars from Maruti Suzuki to rebadge and sell it with their own USPs, of course. And this is one of the few products that Toyota has picked from the Maruti Suzuki stable. So yes, it is the Maruti Suzuki Baleno, but in the Toyota avatar. And well, it has a few differences to set it apart from its Suzuki's sibling. Now, what's it priced at? The Toyota Glanza 2022 model retails between 6.53 lakh and rupees 9.91 lakh ex-showroom. So those are the prices. This is the top spec model that we have right here. This is the V variant, and well, this has all the bells and whistles that you would ask for, and we are going to tell you what they are all about. So let's get started first with the design. So as you can see, as I've already told you, the Maruti Suzuki Baleno influence is obvious. Everything about it, the silhouette, the overall design does remind you of the Maruti Suzuki Baleno. However, there are quite a few differences, especially at the front. And let's start off with this grille. Now, this grille does remind you of the Camry, doesn't it? Yes, the size might not be as big as that of the Camry, but then the entire grille design is definitely of the Camry and does remind you that this is a proper Toyota. The next thing that will remind you that this is a Toyota is the headlamp. Now, the overall headlamp design is from the Maruti Suzuki Baleno. However, the LED DRL is different. Now, this L-shaped LED DRL sets it apart from the front, and then of course this entire front end. So the front bumper is new. It's been redesigned. You've got the 4 carbon fiber element up front, and then you've got lots of these other elements that set it apart. It does look very sporty, it does look very attractive. This is one of the cars that does look chic and fancy indeed. Now, yet another element that I want to bring to your attention are these fog lamp inserts, the fog lamp housing. The fog lamp housing is of course in the same carbon fiber element as that I mentioned earlier. However, it does get C-shaped chrome inserts on both sides, and that pretty much sums up the front end design. Now it's time to talk about the design on the side profile. So let's go and check it out on the side profile. The first thing that you will notice on the side profile are the dual tone alloy wheels. These are diamond cut alloy wheels and they look really nice. They look very stylish indeed. They are 16-inch alloy wheels and they are shod with Apollo Alnac 4G tires, and well, they look great indeed. Now, that is the best element on the side profile. Now, the rest of the vehicle does look very similar to the Baleno. It will be hard to find differences between this and its Suzuki sibling. Now, you do have the chrome door handles, and then you've got the sloping roof line, and that pretty much sums up the side profile. Now it's time to go check out the rear. The new Toyota Glanza looks the most stylish from here, from the rear end. Now, there are quite a few elements on the rear that make it look that stylish, starting off from the tail lamps. Now, these C-shaped tail lamps, these are LED units of course, and they look really nice. So these are split tail lamps, and just a small part of it is on the tailgate itself. Now, on the tailgate, you've got lots going on here with chrome, and you got the V badging here, that is a variant badging. You've got the Toyota badging and the Glanza badging, and finally you've got this huge strip of chrome, so that takes care of all the chrome you would need. And then you've got the steeply wrecked windshield at the rear, and of course you've got this integrated spoiler with the tail lamp inside it, the stop lamp. And then now it's time to open up the boot and tell you what the space is like inside there. But to do that, well, if you're sitting inside the car, you would have to get out because there is no latch from inside that you can open the boot from. You have to get all the way back here and open it using the request sensor here. Now I have the key fob with me. Now this is a rather small key fob. I would expect a bit more premium key fob from a car that costs this much. And well, the buttons on it are also very small, and there's just the lock and unlock button. You do not have a button to open the boot, so it is just the request sensor, and here we have it. So that is the boot of the new Toyota Glanza, and well, it gets a storage capacity of 318 liters. Now that storage space is lesser than it was in the previous Toyota Glanza. For some reason, the storage space has reduced by just about 20 liters, but that is not something that would make a huge difference. What would make a huge difference is the loading, the way you load the boot. Now this is a really high loading lip and the boot space is really deep. So what you'll have to do is lift your luggage. If it's heavy, well, you have to place it in, and then lifting it out of there could also be a hassle, but otherwise there's no complaints with this. You can expand the storage, of course. You've got the 60/40 folding seats at the rear, so you can fold that down as well and expand the boot storage, and of course you can remove the parcel shelf if needed. So with that, we have covered the boot space and the storage capacity of the Glanza in the rear. Now it's time to go check out what it's like from the front and what the interior is like. So let's go. You join us inside the new Toyota Glanza, and well, in here it is a refreshing change, especially compared to the outgoing model, and that is thanks to the new dual tone upholstery that is available in the new Glanza, and that is a black and beige upholstery. It feels really premium. It feels like an upmarket space that you're entering into. And well, before we get on to what it's like on the dashboard, let's talk about this space, what's in front of the driver. So this is where the driver sits, of course, and you've got pretty good looking interior in here. Now you've got an instrument cluster there. It's an analog digital instrument cluster, of course. So you've got the tachometer and the speedometer, as well as the temperature and fuel gauges in analog format. However, there is an MID in between, and what that displays is, well, quite a lot, as it turns out. As you can see, it's got lots of information on there. Right now it says the door is open, but then it displays a lot more when you get driving. It shows you the average fuel efficiency, instantaneous fuel efficiency, lots of other information that you would need with regard to your drive, the total driving time, total idle fuel save. You've got the clock, you've got lots and lots being displayed on there, and that is a very good instrument cluster. It looks very neat. It's probably one of the best in its segment. It's not necessary that despite this being 2022, you would always need a completely digital instrument cluster. An analog digital instrument cluster like this that has been designed well. Now let's talk about the steering wheel. Now this is a nice and chunky steering wheel. We have seen this before. It is very familiar indeed. That's because we have seen it on lots of Maruti Suzuki cars until now. That includes the Swift and the Baleno as well. It's the same steering wheel, but there's no complaints here. Of course, it's a flat bottom steering wheel. It's got the piano black inserts. You've got your steering mounted controls, and it feels really nice to hold. Well, there's a reason they haven't changed it in so many years. That's because it's already good, and well, Maruti Suzuki or Toyota doesn't see the need to change it. So that's the steering wheel. And now let's get onto the dashboard. The first thing that will draw our attention is, of course, this 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Now this entire layout has been lifted straight from the Baleno, and well, it does feature wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's got lots of modes on it. You can go and scroll through it, you can switch, you can make lots of changes on it. It displays a lot of information related to the drive and the vehicle as well. It does miss out on wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that is something that we would have loved to see on this. Apart from that, everything else is great about this. The touchscreen feedback is great, and of course you've got these shortcut keys that allow you to access the home screen, or increase, decrease the volume, etc. Everything from right here. You don't really have to go into the touchscreen to do it, and that is a neat feature indeed. Beneath it, you've got the horizontal central air conditioning vents, and of course the hazard light button. Underneath it, of course, you've got the controls for your climate control. It is a very neat setup indeed. Very compact, as you can see, and well, everything fits in just this much space, and that is a very neat setup. We really like the way it has been integrated into the dashboard. It does feel like a separate part, and yet it is integrated very well, so that is a very good design element. The buttons though are really slim, and well, while they look really nice, they could be a pain to use sometimes in some situations. Only say if you're trying to use them in a bumpy road, well, it could be a little difficult. Apart from that, no complaints with these controls. And well, of course, the dashboard, you've got the piano black element in the center, and then you've got the black plastic on top and beige plastic underneath it. The beige plastic looks really nice. Now it's time to talk about these seats, because these seats are excellent. Not only do they look good, but they also feel good. With these colors, well, the black and beige, they look really premium and nice. Well, they also feel very good. The material is very soft, you sink into them literally, and it's very comfortable. This will keep you in comfort over longer distances, no matter what you're doing in the car. Maybe if you're commuting or you're going for a really long road trip, well, these seats will keep you in absolute comfort. Now let's talk about the center console. You've got two cup holders right here, and then you've got a 12-volt socket here and a USB port right here. Now this USB port can either be used to charge your phone, or it can also be used to connect to the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay of the infotainment system. And then you've got your gear lever. Of course, this is the AMT model that we're driving, the top end model. Behind it, you've got your handbrake. Of course, a proper old school handbrake. This one, there's no electronic handbrake. And behind the handbrake, of course, you've got a sliding armrest that you can use to adjust according to your comfort. And beneath the handrest is, of course, a small cubby hole. It's really small. It's not something that we see being very useful, because you could probably fit your wallet in here and nothing more after that. Now, speaking of adjustability, well, you've got adjustable steering as well. So this is tilt and telescopic adjustable, and that makes it very easy to adjust. And even your driver's side seat can be adjusted for height manually, and so you can get your perfect comfortable driving position pretty easily. And that pretty much sums up the front end. Now it's time to go and tell you what the rear end is like. This is the rear seat of the new Toyota Glanza, and in here also it is pretty spacious. As you can see, the front seat has been adjusted to my driving position, and yet I have so much of knee room and ample leg room at the bottom. What we do wish for was better thigh support, under thigh support. Of course, it is good, there's nothing to complain of. However, over longer distances you might need a bit more under thigh support. Well, headroom is great for my height. If you are a bit taller than me, well, you will see your head touching the roof, and that could be a disadvantage depending on your height. Now, well, oh no, there's no fold-down armrest. Now that is a huge miss from Toyota for this car at this price point. Well, a fold-down armrest was much needed, and that is being missed a lot. What we do not miss though are the rear AC vents. Now you do get dedicated AC vents for the rear passengers, and well, it's a single AC vent. You do not get two AC vents. However, in the single vent itself, you get adjustability for the two rear passengers. Yes, you get only two rear passenger adjustability for this vent. The one in the center would just have to adjust. You get two charging ports right here at the rear. One is a type C and one is a type A, and that pretty much sums up what it is at the rear. Now there is yet another thing that Toyota has missed out on, and that is the seat back pocket for the driver's seat. Now if I'm sitting on this end and I want to store something, well, I cannot. I would have to access this end, and that is something that could have been done better in the rear end. Apart from that, well, there's nothing more to complain. It is a pretty basic car. You do not expect much more than this at the rear. You do get soft touch material on the armrest, so your arms are comfortable over longer distances, and that pretty much sums up what the Toyota Glanza is at the rear, the interior of the Toyota Glanza. So now it's time to find out what it's like to drive and what the engine updates and the transmission updates mean while you're driving it on the road. We're behind the wheel of the new Toyota Glanza, and well, from here, first impressions, well, it is very comfortable indeed. Usually we would begin by talking about the engine and its specifications and the performance, etc. But with this car, we'd like to begin with the comfort, because this seat and this position, it's keeping me very comfortable indeed. And well, it will be very easy for you also to find a proper driving position in this. And this seat, well, it's gonna keep you in comfort no matter what your distance is. Well, if you're commuting or you're driving out on the highway, you're covering long distances, well, this this seat is definitely going to keep you in comfort. Now that we have covered that part, let's get back to the engine and the performance, and I'll tell you what it's like. The new Toyota Glanza is powered by Maruti Suzuki's new K12N engine. It is paired with a new 5-speed AMT gearbox. Now this gearbox has been in the Maruti Suzuki family for ages, and now it has come onto the Glanza as well, and this also marks the first time that Toyota in India has launched a car with an AMT gearbox. Yes, the CVT gearbox from the previous Glanza has been replaced by this AMT gearbox. Well, as a result, there are a few changes. Starting with the weight, it weighs 25 kilograms more than the previous car with the CVT gearbox, and that is quite a lot. The new Toyota Glanza is powered by a new engine. It is Maruti Suzuki's new K12N engine. It is a dual jet engine. It is more efficient. You get more fuel efficiency out of it, and also to increase the fuel efficiency a bit further, the new Maruti Suzuki Baleno as well as the new Toyota Glanza are equipped with an AMT gearbox that replaces the CVT gearbox. So as a result, it gains a bit of weight, about 25 kgs, but other than that, well, it gains a lot of efficiency as well. It is up to 17% more efficient is what the brand says, and well, going by what the dials are showing us, well, it does seem a little more efficient. And this gearbox, well, it is a bit eager to shift up to a higher gear at a lower RPM, and well, that will of course lead to greater efficiency. Now let's get back to the engine. This engine, the 1.2 liter engine, 4-cylinder, of course, it puts out 90 bhp at 6000 rpm and 113 Nm at 4400 rpm. Now that being said, it does feel very nice to drive at low rpms and low speeds especially. It is very tractable, it is very smooth, it is very refined, and well, it's very hard to find something to complain about at lower rpms and at lower driving speeds. So if you're picking this car just for your commute, well, you will have absolutely no reason to complain. But as the speed picks up, well, there are a couple of reasons that can leave you dismayed. Now let's start talking about what it is like to drive across the rev band. So as I said earlier, at low RPMs, it is excellent. You will not find any reason to complain. But as you approach the peak torque levels, the 4400 RPM mark, well, what you start to notice is, even though you are hitting peak torque, it doesn't feel like you're hitting peak torque. You would want that much more pull, but you do not really get that. What you do get is the power kicking in after 4500 rpm. Well, you can say there is a second wind to it, where it starts pulling a little more aggressively, and that is where this engine starts to prove a bit more entertaining, because even the exhaust has been changed a bit. Now we do not know what has been changed inside the exhaust, but we do know that the growl of the exhaust is much better on the Toyota Glanza than on the Maruti Suzuki Baleno, and that is something that we really like. And this exhaust note is more pronounced after 4500 rpm, and well, it just continues and it goes on up until 6000 rpm, and well, that makes it that much more entertaining to drive. Now what does not make it very entertaining to drive is this 5-speed AMT gearbox, and that is simply because the gears shift too quickly. The gearbox is too eager to shift up even at a lower RPM. Now for example, I'm doing 60 kilometers per hour and 1500 RPM in 5th gear. If I put my foot down, it then realizes that I want to go faster and immediately shifts down to 2nd gear from 5th to 2nd. Now that is a huge jump indeed, and if I let go of the throttle, it's back in 5th gear. So it's that eager to shift up. Now there is a cure to it, of course, and that is the manual mode. So you shift it to manual and you have more control over it. So I'm back in 4th gear, now 3rd gear, and if I want that much more acceleration, well, I can even go down to 2nd gear, and here we go, 80 and 90, and well, I'm almost touching the ton. So you do get the feeling that this car can give you best of both worlds, especially if you want a bit of commute and a bit of entertainment. Well, the Toyota Glanza can give you just that. Now when it comes to the braking, if you are an enthusiast, you would probably be a bit disappointed, because you do not get that initial bite that you would expect out of the brakes. The pedal feels a bit spongy, and the travel of the pedal is a little too much for an enthusiast liking. However, if you're a first-time car buyer, which this car is actually intended for, well, this car will actually leave you pleased. Now it's time to talk about how the new Toyota Glanza handles, and before we start talking about the body roll and stuff, First off, let me mention that the new Glanza is 10 millimeters shorter than the older one, and that should have resulted in a little lesser body roll. However, we do not feel that much of a lesser body roll, and well, we just hit a bumpy patch, and that showed how supple the ride is. The ride is good, there's no doubt about it, but there is a lot more to be desired if you are taking a corner at speed, and well, there is quite a lot of body roll, and that can be discomforting, especially for those who are sitting in the rear seat. And if I'm gonna take a corner at speed, if I'm having passengers in the rear seat, they will definitely feel a lot of discomfort. Not that a lot of owners of the Glanza will do this, but if you do intend to do it, if you do it, well, there is going to be a lot of discomfort. Apart from that, there is not much to complain about when it comes to the ride quality. Of course, it's a Toyota, it rides well, it drives well, there's no complaints on that front at all. At the beginning of the video, I had posed a question: is this car worthy of having the Toyota badge on it? Now, for any car to be worthy of the Toyota badge, it has to be ultra reliable and ultra durable, and Toyota, it seems, has somehow achieved it with the new Glanza despite it being a rebadged product. Now, the Maruti Suzuki Baleno comes with a standard warranty of 2 years of 40,000 kilometers. The Toyota Glanza, despite being based on the same car, is offered with a standard warranty of 3 years or 1 lakh kilometers, and that is just astonishing. If that wasn't enough for you, you can extend the warranty up to 5 years or 2,20,000 kilometers, and that is just mind-blowing. And for that reason, this car, according to us, is definitely a winner. Do let us know in the comment section what you think about the new Toyota Glanza, and if you have any questions about it as well, go ahead and ask us and we will definitely answer them for you. That's it from us for now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Stephen Neal signing off for DriveSpark, and that was our review of the new 2022 Toyota Glanza.